It's the Donovan Live postgame show. I'm Dave DeNatale with Jim Donovan here on Facebook Live and YouTube. And Jimmy, doom, gloom, and a lot more after what happened last night. The Cavaliers, with I think 2:48 to go, they were up by 6. They had everything going for them. Looked like they were going to get back in the NBA Finals. Golden State finishes the game on an 11-0 run, and now the Cavaliers are on the brink of elimination via sweep against this team that many are calling the best of the 21st century. And, you know, if this thing works out the way we think it's going to work out, maybe for a possible sweep, you know, they're going to be 16 for 16 in the postseason. Pretty amazing.
Which is unbelievable. Amazing. I mean, the Lakers were 15-1 at one point, okay? But these guys would be, if they win tomorrow night, and I do believe they want that, okay? I think that for two reasons. Number one, I think there still is embedded in their memories a bad memory of being up 3-1 in the series last year, and then the series got away from them, and they couldn't put the brakes on it and get it back, and they ended up losing the series, and they were on the wrong side of history. Okay, no one had ever done that in the NBA Finals, and here was a team that had 73 wins in the regular season, historic in that way, but nobody remembers anything really about the 73 wins. They just remember that they blew that 3-1 lead. It's like that New England Patriots team that went 16-0 in the regular season, but then lost to the Giants in the Super Bowl. Everybody just, what have you done for me lately?
Exactly,
So I think that they, on two fronts. Number one is that they want to get this thing over with. They don't want to fool around with it. Going home and winning it at home would be nice, but still there's that memory of, hey, we went home last year up 3-1 and we didn't get it done, and suddenly it was 3-2 and 3-3.
You had to fly back, and then
we lost it. So, if you have a grip on a series, I think you try and end it. And then there's the historical part of it. To become this team that would win 16 games in the playoffs is just mind-boggling to me that you're able to do that. Now, I know they've had home court, but no matter where they've been, they take everybody's best shot. People have taken shots at them. San Antonio took their best shot at them in Game 1 of the Western Finals. The Cavs, I think, took their best shot at them last night. And somehow they get off the ropes and they find a way to knock them out and win it.
Yeah, it's pretty staggering. LeBron James today at practice, talked about this idea now that it's not just a big three, it's a big four that's come together. And, hey, look, it's the rules, it's the way it is, good for them. But he also talked, and you and I talked about this before, even before you went on for the Six. There's a lot of now historical context going into how these super teams were put together. And LeBron said today, hey, listen, when I went to Miami, we didn't have anything established. Dwayne Wade was there, but I had to go there. Chris Bosh had to go there. We had to bring in other guys, and we had to build it. And it ended up really taking them 2 years. Same thing with the Cavaliers. They didn't win in year one. It took them a year to win a championship. And LeBron's point today was, look, Golden State was already extremely good, already a championship team. So Durant gets there, and there's nothing for them to have to build. Interesting comments.
Yeah, and I disagree a little bit with him. Now I know that constitutes an ethics violation to disagree with LeBron, but I mean, I do disagree a little bit with his interpretation. I agree with the Miami part that that it was a mishmash. They had no roster once he and Bosh came on board because they had to get rid of everybody to clear the roster space to get the two of them, and they put together a bench on the fly. And as you said, the second year they were ready to roll. But when he came back here the second time, LeBron said today that Golden State drafted well, okay, because Thompson, Curry, and Draymond Green were drafted by the Golden State Warriors, and he's right about that, okay? But he said that, this is different. When I came back here, we had to put it together, and I disagree with him on one point, and that is that the Cavs had drafted a team at that point, because remember, they had won the lottery a number of times.
3 times,
So, they had Irving.
Yes.
He was here, okay? They had Tristan Thompson. They had drafted him. And then they had drafted Andrew Wiggins.
Right.
Remember him, okay? You could say, and I keep watching Golden State play and the pace they play at and the up and down style, and I brought it up to you, I keep trying to envision what would Wiggins look like back in a Cavs uniform, put together with Kyrie, LeBron, Tristan Thompson, and all these guys. It's food for thought, but I don't think the Cavs had to really break it all down and build it back up. Yeah. But to get Kevin Love, they did make a move, and it was trading one of their drafted guys. And then remember, they traded another drafted guy down the road when they traded Dion Waiters away because it wasn't working between him and Irving, and they ended up with Shumpert and J.R. Smith. But we did draft well.
Tyler Zeller was another guy they traded in order to free up room.
Another guy they drafted.
That they had drafted to free up room to get LeBron in here and to arrange things for Kevin Love. And just to be clear, you're not saying that you think it was a mistake to make the deal. You're not saying that.
I am saying that, we did draft and we had the potential of really those kind of players. Yes. Think about it. I mean, Thompson's a different player than Draymond Green. But Irving, is a very, very skilled player, and you could put him with Steph Curry.
Yes.
Maybe not I don't know. I mean, it's a very close vote.
And then
you would have Wiggins
with Thompson,
who is a scorer. Yeah. I mean, Wiggins is a scorer. Now, Kevin Love is a totally different kind of player. But it's interesting to think about. But the Cavs did draft. I don't think that they had to go out and get 7 guys to come in after they brought LeBron in.
No, they had. I mean, you got to give Chris Grant a little bit of credit for that. They had accumulated a lot of assets, and they were able to turn them into draft picks and got some guys who were able to help. All right, last thing, because I won't be able to do one of these with you tomorrow. You'll be out down at the Q. Let's assume that at some point in the next 4 days, this thing's going to come to an end, either tomorrow night at the Q or if it goes back Monday night to the Oracle and Golden State finishes this off. There's going to already be discussions about what happens next for the Cavs. I just wonder right now, Jimmy, as far as David Griffin's future. He's general manager right now. His contract's up at the end of the month. The Cavs have still not re-signed him yet. I just wonder what could happen going forward if we might see any kind of a blockbuster change at the top of this organization.
Well, despite all the accolades we throw at Golden State, I'm sure in the Cavs family, a sweep is not going to taste good.
No.
Okay? Even though this is a historic team that they're playing in Golden State, I don't think that the Cavs or the Cavs owner thinks, had any belief that this was going to be a sweep.
No.
So I don't think that's going to taste well. When things don't taste well, you spit them out, okay? So I'm kind of wondering, knowing that at times, they have made, sweeping changes when they haven't liked something the way it's going, vis-a-vis David Blatt getting blown out, with a pretty solid record at the time he got blown out. And some other moves that they've made, I too wonder. And I would say this: I would wonder why David Griffin doesn't have a deal.
That's
why doesn't he have a
deal? Yeah. The Cavs have prevented him from talking with other teams that have been interested. The Hawks have been interested. The Magic, the Bucks. I mean, there have been teams that have asked the Cavs, "Look, can we talk to him?" And the Cavs have said no, which would, I know you're hedging your bets because you want to see what happens in the finals. But that seems to be some kind of an indicator you want to keep the guy around. But yet there's still no contract. Yeah. I don't understand, and it just you just wonder what it might lead to if this thing goes down the way it's headed right now.
Yeah. Well, like I say, I mean, if it's a sweep, okay, I really believe that there'll be some bad moods.
Yeah.
You can do the handshake with Steve Kerr and Mike Brown, and what a story that will be, and the greatness of the Warriors, and you can put on a good face, okay? But behind closed doors, I mean, there's going to be a session where they go, what the heck happened here?
Right.
Now, there was a hint that there was just, that it was in disarray in the middle of the year when LeBron did his middle of the year, his annual middle of the year. I don't know if we have enough here.
Right.
That would lend credence to the argument that they didn't have enough. But I would say to you, was there anything out there that would have made this better for them? Was there something that they could have gone out and gotten to make them beat the Golden State Warriors? And I don't know if that one player or two players that would have done it. And on the other side of that, what would you have had to have given up?
Right, you have 4 max players on this roster in James, Irving, Love, and Thompson. You've got J.R. Smith and Iman Shumpert, both of whom are making $10 million a year or more in J.R.'s case. There's not a whole lot of moves you can make right now with the way the salary cap is. There just isn't.
The one thing I would do, okay, if this goes the way it seems to be headed right now, is that I would take a good long look at that bench, and I would get rid of the buddy system on that bench. These guys that are hanging around, to get a ring, they got their rings last year,
right?
Okay, but they were of no help in trying to get the ring this year. So I would take a look at that bench and say, okay, listen, we have to get guys that can help us on this bench right now, because Golden State, we talk about the 4 great players, but there are guys coming off that bench that are helping them in short amounts of time too.
Yeah, the Livingstons and the McGees of the world.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is the podcast might come to
I mean, I would get them all. The latest editions of whatever phones Apple and everybody are coming out with, or I don't want to endorse anything, but I guess I just did. I would get them all that kind of equipment, but then I would say, listen, on the basketball side, I think we have to get younger, stronger, more able bodies than the guys we have right now. I mean, they're the whiffs are of Bengay, not of champagne, right now coming out of that locker room.
All right, Jimmy. On that note, that will do it. Now you're at the Q tomorrow for Donovan Live. We'll be at the Q, as Jimmy will be there also for the 6 o'clock news. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. But until then, for Jim Donovan, for Kiara Cotton, I'm Dave DeNatale. Thanks for watching the Donovan Live postgame show.